Yes, people, what's going on? Seagull Talk Football. We are back again with another video. We end off the year with a win. Arsenal beat Ipswich 1-0 at home, but it was in a dominant fashion. Even though it was just 1-0, it was a dominant performance from Arsenal. We should have scored more goals. We didn't really get enough opportunities to do that. But hey, it is what it is. 1-0 win. I take it. A win is a win. And we end the year off with a win. Happy New Year's to all the Gooners out there, all the football fans watching this video right now. Please do hit that like button, and Happy New Year's to all of you guys, as this is the final game of the season. Arsenal round up the 2024 season with a win at home versus Ipswich. And you know, this Ipswich team is a team that took it to Chelsea. They took it to a bunch of other teams. They took it to Liverpool, and they came to our ground, and we didn't even let them register a single chance. We defensively, we were on top of them the whole game, but we should have scored more. We should have created a little bit more. I think we did enough to win the game, but you know, I didn't like the fact that we kept it at 1-0. We should have tried to bury the game. We should have ended it. We should have put it to bed. But hey, unbeaten in 8 of our last Premier League games. Yes, 8 of our last Premier League games were unbeaten. I know there's 3 draws in there, but we're unbeaten in our last 8 Premier League games. Kai Havertz scores a goal. He's awarded man of the match. What did you guys think about the performance today from Arsenal? Let me know in the comment section. I'm not going to lie to you guys. That was not the most entertaining game. There was a situation where Gabriel Jesus had a header. There was a situation where Declan Rice had the shot from the cross from Martin Ødegaard, but far and in between some of the chances in this game. But Bukayo Saka was a huge miss, as you guys can tell. He's one of the main goal scorers in this team, one of the main assisters, one of the main players, and they really did miss him out there today. But we still got the result. It wasn't really too much of an issue. Mikel Arteta gets the most wins in a calendar year in his career so far, 26 wins for Arsenal this season, and also has kept the most clean sheets also at his time at Arsenal. Obviously, Kai Havertz, after the game, coming out speaking, saying how much they miss Bukayo Saka, and says everyone has to step up in his time while he is away. And of course, today I thought Gabriel Jesus once again was his amazing self. Kai Havertz, of course, man of the match. Declan Rice, solid performance. Well, Gabriel Jesus kind of came back down to earth after 5 goals versus Crystal Palace in the last 2 games. But Gunnar Souls, how you feeling? How you doing? How's everybody doing, man?
Yeah, man, it's good break from work and everything as well. So yeah, man, it's a nice time at the moment. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, like, you know, not every game's going to be a 5-0. Not every game's going to be free-flowing football. You know, sometimes you've got to take these 1-0s, especially in a title race, when things maybe don't go your way. And especially with Arsenal now being sort of 3 years into trying to win a title, a lot of sides are going to give us a lot more respect and actually just sit back. Because we've seen it when teams open up, we absolutely demolish them. You know, same as Crystal Palace, you know, getting the early goal opens up a lot of teams, which then gives us the room and the space to be able to maneuver and score those goals. But when you're looking at someone like Ipswich, they kind of were resolute. They stopped all the running channels. They stopped every opportunity that we could. They double teamed our wingers. And this is where I've always said we've got to be wary of like Saka's injury, due to the fact that we don't really have a threat that can actually get out of these situations. Martinelli, for the past sort of few seasons, hasn't been on the highs of confidence where he has the ability to take men on and to be able to dribble past people, but not to the level that Saka can, even when he's out of form or out of confidence. You know, that's not what Trossard and, you know, Martinelli have shown in the past as well. But for me, I think it was a solid performance, especially for a home game. We've seen Boxing Day this year has been very different to, you know, many others where there haven't really been that many high-scoring games, free-flowing football. We've seen some mad results in the previous like Boxing Day fixtures, but this year we've seen very much so reserved and arguably one of the most competitive Boxing Days that we've seen in a very long time. We've seen some upsets, we've seen some obvious results come our way as well. So yeah, we've seen a mix of things, and yeah, I think, look, it was a dominating performance. They didn't really have anything to do. They didn't have, you know, many opportunities to score. They didn't look threatening. 1 goal, get in and done. Like, it was just a job well done.
Yeah, you know what? We sign off 2023 with a clean sheet, 3 points, and you know what? You're the one who said it. Kai Havertz masterclass. Take it away, bro. Tell me about the Kai Havertz
I mean,
masterclass.
I said it more because like you're asking what to title it. I don't really think it was a masterclass, but it kind of just triggers people in it. But for me, look, Havertz is Havertz, and it like as a left centre mid, we kind of know what the role is when Havertz plays there and when other midfielders play there. When Declan Rice is there or Mikel Moreno, we know there's a difference between the sort of instructions that are given. When you look at sort of, what Havertz is doing, for example, the goal that came in, that's the second time where he was in the right place at the right time. And that's what he's going to offer, a shadow striker, someone who's going to overload the box and someone who's going to be in the right positions at the right time. And without those sort of movements and runs, we're not going to get the goal that we get. And also what you've got to understand is time and time again, Havertz is popping up at the right opportunities to actually score or set up something, or just to be a nuisance and a thinking process for some centre-backs. There was a cross from Trossard, I think, later on where he kind of flicks it on. That could have been a goal. The one, I think, where Martin Ødegaard plays him through, but he just misses the ball. There's plenty of opportunities that we can talk about Havertz having because of the runs he makes. And I think that's what we miss, and that's what he brings to the left centre mid, especially in low blocks. He's a low block unlocker. But the problem is whether we can have the creativity from the likes of Ødegaard, Martinelli, Trossard, Declan Rice, if you want to put him into that category, whether these guys can give enough opportunities to actually unlock the likes of Jesus and Havertz when they're making the runs. The part of the problem today was there were some good crosses, but they came at the wrong times as well. Like when Havertz wasn't in the box, again, that's the urgency, but we've seen it when Arteta's screaming at these players to pick up the pace, to pick up, opportunities, and that's the thing. And ultimately what we need to do is Ødegaard needs to find a new bedroom because he cannot be sleeping with that kid, because that kid has definitely ruined him. It has completely ruined everything.
Are we going to talk about Ødegaard now? Ødegaard did not have his best game. I know. Take it away.
But he's not had a good game since the kid has arrived in it. So he just needs to go in a different bedroom and sleep, man. Because this guy, you can see in his face, you can see he's tired. Like there's sometimes you can see it in the body language, right? This guy hasn't had enough sleep. You could just see he's either tired, exhausted, or just drained. There's something there. But yeah, I don't know, man. He needs to find either a new bedroom or a new house or something, yeah, and just actually sleep out the season's going on. And then he can visit them on the weekends or something.
All right, let's talk about the performance. The performance was not that good. The performance itself, Gunner Souls. If we're going to talk about Arsenal's performance today, was Arsenal's performance good? I don't think so. I think Arsenal's performance today was enough to get us the result.
Right, define a good performance then, because clearly we have different standards to what like a good performance constitutes of.
Okay, creating abundance of chances and also having good defensive performance. So we had the defensive side of the game, but on the other side of the game, we were not as good. So if I'm going to break it down simply, I'll say Arsenal from our box to their just until their 18-yard box, perfect. Once we get to that final third, we didn't have that extra pass. We didn't have that extra moment. A couple of chances where we did break through. One time we were offside. Another time, the player had their shot blocked, or Gabriel Jesus missed a header. We did have some good chances, but Arsenal's performance today was not the best.
I mean, if you're saying if it's Arsenal's best performance, that's a different story. But it was a good performance overall. Keeping
what do you
out
consider a good performance?
Okay, for me, like did they have a shot on target? They barely made any passes into the final third. They didn't look like they had any.
No, defensively we were solid. Defensively, we're 9 out of 10.
I'm covering all the boxes in case someone thinks I forgot something.
No, so but what about the offensive side?
Yeah, I'm about to get to it, but I'm just starting it off with like the parts where we were stronger. Now, that part of the game was absolutely on perfect form because they only had at the end of the game, and I know I don't really like the XG metrics, but it does give you some underlying statistics. It was 0.16 to R2 or 1.96 XG. That is a complete domination. They barely did anything. They couldn't even sniff our goal. And then when you look at the attacking side, Havertz had an opportunity where the final ball was bad. Martinelli had a few crosses where the urgency wasn't there. When you look at, we had plenty of opportunities to actually break down. Look, you can't have 13 shots and tell me like 3 big chances, and you know what you're saying to me, there was no element of a good performance. It was just the lack of clinicalness that cost us. And the 1-0, yes, doesn't really reflect how we actually performed. Now, part of the problem is Arteta has to constantly tell this team to be a little bit more urgent. We've seen it when when they wanted to try and win the ball back, and you can see him, you can actually hear him on the TV this time, where he's absolutely barking at the players to be a bit more urgent, to press a bit more highly. And this isn't an instruction from the manager. This is just the players are not, playing to the 100% intensity that they should be doing. But for me, I think it's a good, solid performance. We go out there with 3 points, and yeah.
All right. You want to take a moment to talk about Myles Lewis-Skelly and Timber, as those two guys, Myles Lewis-Skelly and Timber. What a performance from Myles Lewis-Skelly! What a performance from Timber! Let's take a second to just appreciate Myles Lewis-Skelly. The kid's 17, bro. 17, and he's putting these kind of performances in. He's not only, I think he might be taking that left back spot at Arsenal and making it his.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's technically one of the most gifted players on that pitch. I mean, there were moments in that game where even I said, like, oh, you're holding on to the ball too much. But yeah, did he make me shut up? Because he's strong on the ball. He can get out of tight spaces. This is the weird thing about him, right? He's like a Santi Cazorla. Like someone who's just so pressure resistant, can work in the tight spaces, gets out of situations that for a 19-year-old you don't really expect. I think, and you know what, this may be a controversial take, right? But Saka can learn a few things from Myles Lewis-Skelly as well, because you can see Myles Lewis-Skelly in some parts of the game has been double teamed. He's had a few situations where 2 or 3 people have tried to, take him on, and he's been able to evade that sort of press. And I get it. Sometimes a position that you play can also kind of teach you different things. But the way he can move out of those situations is absolutely immense. He barely loses the ball. He's always composed. And the reason why I say those things and those traits isn't because he passes backwards. The majority of his passes are dangerous. They're forward thinking, and he drives into space, and yet he barely loses the ball. As a left back, that is an amazing trait to have. And I know he's a midfielder before people get onto me, but he is playing at left back where the stakes can be a lot higher. But that hasn't bothered him. And today you can see it. Ipswich's game plan, especially in the majority of that game, was get physical, get into their faces, and he was handling himself. Phillips got into his face, didn't affect him, didn't go get a red card, didn't engage in that or lose his head and, make a rash tackle or anything like that. So it's the fact that he's got such a mature head for such a young man. So, yeah, man, I think, look, he's got world-class potential. This guy can go to the very top. And all we need to do is just manage him carefully, because what we don't want to have is a situation like Saka where he's getting played game in, game out, game in, game out. And that's the worry sometimes with these young players, especially when they make an impact like he is. So he's going to be rotated out. And I just want people to understand, look, if Calafiori was to play the next game, don't lose your head. That doesn't mean that he doesn't trust him anymore. It's just you've got to manage these young players better.
Okay, so safe to say Leandro Trossard and Kai Havertz stepped up, right? But Jesus and Martinelli, it wasn't a good look. Jesus' hot streak did not continue. His hot streak came to an end. We couldn't expect him to continue to score at the rate that he was scoring at.
Well, look, Gabriel Jesus was never a goal scorer. He was never that kind of player. What I've always said, look, the hat-trick and the 2 goals that he scored preceding the hat-trick, all I want Jesus to do is either contribute to goals like that. So whether it's a case of, he's contributed to 2 or 3 goals in a game, or he makes goals happen, that's a different story. But I never thought he would keep this form going. And look, he will pop up in the next game and probably score a goal. But he's just never been that player, and I don't think people need to expect that from him. He's more of a false 9. He's a very much so a deep false 9 who's going to link up play more than he's going to score.
Should we be more worried about Martinelli than we should be about Jesus?
Not necessarily. I mean, I don't think Martinelli didn't have the best of performances, but you can definitely see some improvements coming onto the right-hand side, where especially in the beginning of the game, in the first sort of 20, 30 minutes, in my opinion anyway, a lot of his crosses were dangerous, but we just didn't have the urgency or the presence in the box to actually take those opportunities. And I think people, look, I'm in the camp of we need to improve on him, and he needs to become either an option off the bench or we sell him. And, whatever decision we go for, it is what it is. But for me, Martinelli,
you saw Martinelli already.
Over. What's that?
I give Martinelli the rest of the season before he is spoken about as a player who's a rotation player. Because I don't think after this season, if he cannot get himself back going, he's going to become a squad player.
No, like I said, like he that is his role, like, and that's how I view him now. And it's up to the club now, like, to actually protect him in a way, because the longer he has to keep starting and the longer that he has to keep playing, it's going to go from bad to worse for him. Not in terms of his own form, but the way that the fans are going to speak on him, because you can already see it. Like, the fans are already kind of, turning into him like he's not the best of players for the caliber that we need. But can he be an impact sub or anything of that nature? Let's see. But he has to be sold. I've said this for many weeks. This isn't a reactionary thing. Even if I think his performances are good, he still needs to go, because he doesn't really have the caliber of a league-winning winger, and we need better. And that's just, unfortunately, just how the cookie is crumbling. Like I said, if it comes to it, like, and he can improve his form, he needs to be given Trossard minutes then, off the bench, see what he does, and if he can improve his form, then cool. But it has to be on the back of someone coming in for him. If he cannot be our starting left winger or right winger or whatever coming into next season.
What do you do with both of them? Just make them rotation?
With both of them, what do you mean?
Gabriel Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus. Do you sell both of them, or do you just want them both on the bench next year?
Ideally, what I would want is Jesus or Martinelli to be sold and Havertz to become the depth option, or as a plan B or a plan A in certain games. And that's kind of what I'd like to see happen. And someone like a Gyökeres coming in, or a sqaud coming in, or a Osimhen coming in, that's ideally what you want. You want your best players to become your bench options and bring someone who's an improvement on them. But if you're looking at Martinelli, then obviously you're looking at a winger. If you're looking at Jesus, then you're looking at a striker. So it depends on what role you want to prioritize more. If you're looking for a Martinelli replacement, then it's got to be someone like a Kvara coming in. Lookman's a good option as well. I'm not too keen on the idea, but Nico Williams could be a good option as well. But again, he kind of brings the same problems to some degree. Like I said, not on top of my list, but I do like the option. So it kind of just depends really on what position.
Right, let's quickly get over the player ratings, and let's talk about the league position. So we find ourselves in the league position now. We're second in the table. I'm not really looking at the table too much anymore, guys. We just need to continue to churn out results. We can't look at Liverpool's results. The last 5 games, we were on the same type of form. We can't really look at them too much. We have to just focus on ourselves. So while we're doing that, let's do our lineup quickly. Raya didn't put a foot wrong. Clean sheet. Once again, great performance. Give him an 8 out of 10. Do you disagree with that?
Right. I'll just give him a 7 because he didn't have anything to do.
Okay, 7. Timber, amazing performance. I'll give him an 8.5.
Timber, yeah, I can agree with that. 8.5. Yeah, one of our best players on the pitch.
The centre-back pairing, Gabriel Magalhaes, Mr. Sitter. Saliba didn't put a foot wrong the entire game. I'm going to give both of them 8s.
I mean, yeah, Raya did make a mistake.
The whole back line gets 8s.
Yeah. No. Lewis-Skelly and Timber getting 8.5. The 2 centre-backs getting 8.
Okay. That's what I mean, though. Midfield, Ødegaard was probably one of the poorer players on the day. I'll give him a 6.5, 7.
He had a better second half, but yeah, he had a poor overall game.
6.5.
Yes.
Kai Havertz was one of the better players on the team. I'm going to give him 8.5.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think it was, in some phases of the game, but an 8.5. 8.
Solid performance, not his best performance, 7.
Not his best? Oh, come on, man. You guys, I don't know what you expect from me. It's an 8 for me.
Okay, fair. Martinelli was poor. I'm going to give him a 6.5.
I agree. He had a few moments, but yeah, 6.5.
Jesus, I didn't really notice him outside of the called back goal. I'm going to give him a 6.5 also.
I'm going to give him a 4. It's been below standard for me.
4. Wow. Leandro Trossard got the assist. He stepped up. He showed me that he can do something. I'm going to give him a 7.
But if you're going to do that, then Martinelli deserves higher because he made that goal happen as well. Because it was his cross that initiated.
I know. I give Martinelli 6.5. I'm giving Trossard 7.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's cool.
I think that's fair. Also, substitutes. Mikel Moreno, not really gonna judge him too much. He came on, he put his weight around a little bit. Partey, same thing. the main thing we're going to talk about is Mikel Arteta. Mikel Arteta finishes the season with the most wins in a calendar year by a manager and the most points in a calendar year by a manager and the most clean sheet in a calendar year by a manager. Arsenal manager, that is.
I mean, look, you see, no, it's not been a great start to the season. We can all admit that. But
we 2024 has been a good year for Arteta, even though we haven't won.
He's more than capable of picking it up, though. Like, so we know that for a fact that he can, turn the fortunes around. So that's why I'm giving it till the end of the season before I make any comments on whether, he should proceed. I always
have one more. What a trophy.
Well, good for them, and if they want to do that, then cool. We know what comments can be like, so I don't really pay too much attention to people who bring no intellectual conversation to it. If they can intellectually combat what's being said, then cool. But if they want to say what a trophy, cool. You're just exposing yourself for being a lack of intelligence there. So bring something to the table rather than just bringing words that don't mean anything. That's the way I see it.
I'm just looking at Arteta's doing a decent job, but if we don't win this season,
start of the season's been terrible. We can all admit to that. But
yeah, the start of the season has been terrible. We've had some injuries. If we don't win the league this year, I feel like there's been enough adversity to say he deserves another year from the board side of things. But I don't know, man. I don't want to have our Arteta conversation every game. We're on a decent winning streak. We need to just keep it going. Hopefully we can catch up.
My opinion is one more season and I'm done after that. But I'm going to keep it consistent. I don't really care to have him. If people want to have it every week, it's just boring, man.
Yeah, you know what? We're going to wrap it up here, guys. You guys have yourselves a wonderful day. This has been a quick little video. Not much to be said. HAVERTZ Masterclass. Myles Lewis-Skelly was amazing. We won the game 1-0. It was not the best performance, but it was a good. It was a win by any means necessary. And yeah, we just need to catch up to those Merseyside Reds. And yeah, Gunnar Sold, you got anything to say before we go?
No, man. I mean, it's been it's a good game. We won, got 3 points, we're second in the league. Just got to keep chopping at the change and hunting down Liverpool. Really, that's it.
There you go. Have a good one, guys. We're out of here. Peace, love.